Hi everybody, it's Gershelle. Today I kind of wanted to briefly touch on grounding techniques. For the past 2 weeks, I've had a lot of clients reaching out to me, and we've been talking about panic attacks and feeling stressed out and anxious leaving their house. So I know our world is changing right now with COVID, and it is increasing a lot of anxiety. So being out in public and not knowing, should I wear a mask, should I not wear a mask, and then if they do, the fear of contamination has been having a lot of my clients personally have increased panic attacks. And then it gets worse because they're wearing masks and they can't breathe. So when a panic attack comes, your breathing gets quicker, and then you start freaking out because the breathing is restricted with this material over your face, right? So how do we slow down our breathing? How do we shut down our mind when we have panic attacks kicking in? Not just now with the way the world is going, and with a mask, but in any situation when our anxiety is going up the roof or a panic attack is setting in. So grounding techniques can help with not just panic attacks, but if you're having like a flashback or unwanted memories and negative or challenging emotions, they're setting in. Because what's happening? It's our brain, it's our mind, it's just thought bubbles everywhere, right? And we need to shut them down, slow them down, so come back inside of our bodies. Now, with a grounding technique or tool or coping skill, whatever fancy word a therapist or psychiatrist or anybody in the mental health field wants to use, all it means is bringing it back in the body and slowing down the brain, right? You can use physical techniques. Get a bucket of water. Get a warm one, a hot one, cold one, all of them. Not too hot, obviously. We don't want you to burn yourself. And we want you to put your hands in the water. And the reason why is because we're working on using our senses. Focus on your senses. So you put your hand in the water. Close your eyes if you want to, because that kind of helps increase you in the concentration. Put your fingers in there and feel and think. What does this feel like? How does it feel on my palms? How does it feel on my fingertips? How does it feel on the back of my hands? And does it feel the same on each part of my hand? Take it out. Wipe it off. Use the warm water first, and then move to the cold water. Then go from the cold water and then try the warm water. Is it different? Does it feel different? Just keep switching back and forth. Because when you're doing this, you're getting out of here. You've brought it back to your nerve endings, to your body, and you're slowing it down. That's one type of grounding tool. Another one that's really popular, I'm sure you've probably heard it before, if you've done any kind of counseling, is the 5-4-3-2-1 method. This is where you work backwards from 5, and you use your senses to list things that you notice around you. For example, you might start with listing 5 things that you hear, and then 4 things that you see, 3 things that you can touch, 2 things that you smell, and 1 thing that you taste. Here in my space that I can grab, and I can notice this. Because you're trying to get out of that head. So if you're in the grocery store, if you're driving, if wherever you are, that's where you're identifying those 5 items. For example, in the car, it's going to be a lot harder because there's less things, but you can still do it, I promise. Okay? You want to make an effort to notice the little things that you might not always notice and pay attention to. Believe it or not, numbers are a big one when it comes to grounding. A lot of people will use the multiplication table because it's using, that logic and memory retrieval tools. Counting backwards from 100, counting by 5s. Just use any kind of number technology, memory tool that you have in there to get you out of those negative thoughts and the panic. Slow it down. This piece, thought bubbles, and go back to something else calming. And we may not think that numbers are calming because, math, but it's not what's making you feel anxious. Another kind of grounding tool is an anchoring phrase. So that could be like, I am, or my name is Grishelle. I'm a female. I'm X amount of years old. I live in Austin. Today is whatever today is. It is X time. I'm sitting at my desk, my kitchen table, in my car, because now you're focusing on getting you out here and putting you back on the location, date, time. You want to anchor you to the here and now. Lastly, it's kind of like the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. It's the description visualization one, because you're just going to be describing what's around you, and you're spending a little bit of time describing, and you're also using your 5 senses. What am I hearing? What am I seeing? What am I smelling, feeling, and tasting? But instead of identifying 5 things, 4 things, 3 things, 2 things, you're just focusing on the senses, right? So I hear birds chirping. I smell bread baking. I see light coming from my daughter's room, I feel a cool breeze. Whatever it may be, wherever you're at, those are the things that you want to describe. Because, these are the things you have to practice, your senses. Get you out of your head. Grounding techniques can be really creative, and there's a million others out there. We want to try and practice how to slow it down. Slow the mind, slow the breathing, and you'll be okay. I promise. Everything takes practice. Everything takes time. And what I tell all my clients is, something may not work every single time. The key is to develop a toolbox of a whole bunch of coping skills, a whole bunch of mechanisms. So one day this guy might work, one day it might not, but it's all right, because you can pull out another one and another one and another one. And what works for him and her may not work for you. So keep on searching and learning and growing and trying new things so you can figure out what works best for you. All right. Have a great day. Bye.